Hey, everybody. Episode number 79, NasCard Radio. We're trading cards and racing meet. I'm your pal Val, and with me is the amazing Jason. Jason, how are you?
Hey, Val, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing super duper. And the man, the myth, the legend, the Hall of Famer, the PSA Magazine article, Grand Poobah, King NASCAR Logan, how are you?
I'm positive that I'm negative.
Awesome. So we got a great show for everybody today. We got the Willy Wonka golden ticket has been found. The Lewis Hamilton 101. We'll talk about it. Got some eBay auctions in NasCard News. We saw a complete Sapphire set for sale on one of the Facebook groups. We have the NasCAR Hall of Fame induction ceremony coming up at the end of this month. And then also NT Racing is getting ready to release. So we'll give you our views on that. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. We'll have NASCAR news. We'll talk about some other things in NASCAR news.
We got a lot to talk about today. But where do you want to go to first?
We can talk about the news real quick. Just get that out of the way.
All right, let's do it.
All right. I guess I'll start out. For those of you who do not know, the Daytona 500 is officially sold out. So that's good news. I don't know that it's been sold out in the prior years. I mean, I remember it used to be sold out every year, and they had a lottery system going like for years and years and years. And I remember trying to get tickets, and it was like nearly impossible. So, at least now it's sold out.
So they used to have the grandstands on the backstretch. I think they might have removed those when we had our a contraction years ago. I saw that at Charlotte track too, where they had seats out there and then they pulled them out. But to your point, they redid Daytona. I think some of the concessions and seating and everything else. And it's awesome to hear and see that tickets going to be sold out again.
So have either of you been?
Not to the 500. I've been to the July race, and it is hot. But
I can imagine.
I've been to several Daytona 500s. I've been to some of the best ones, and I've been to the absolute worst one. I was at Dale Earnhardt's Daytona 500 win in 1998. When he won, and he did donuts in the grass, and I saw all these people out there picking up the grass from where he did the burnouts in the grass. And now in hindsight, I wish I had done that myself. And then I was also there. I've been to several, but these are the two that stand out. I was there in 2001, the day he passed away in the wreck. I remember the guy that I was with. I told him, I said, this is serious, especially when they came out and put the blue tarp on the car. Usually that's a very bad sign in the NASCAR world. When you see the blue tarp go over the car, that means they're trying to preserve it and that something really, really bad has happened. And that was a really dark day. So I've been to several Daytona 500s.
It's interesting, and my story is nowhere near what yours was now. But because I've not been to a race yet, and I'm definitely the virgin here in this situation. But my wife and I went to Flagler Beach, which is like 20 miles up the road, a few years ago, and we traveled to Daytona. And not ever being to a race, and that was 2014, so where I really wasn't even paying attention to NASCAR at all, not realizing the size, the magnitude of, I don't even know what you would call it, like not the stadium, but like the track, like in the stands. I had never realized how just ginormous those places are until I don't know if you remember, there's like a mall directly across the street, which is super weird that it's just like right across the street, because how stadiums are usually away from things, especially with the parking. But we just happened to go to that mall and we pulled up, and what's this huge anomaly over here, not realizing where we were. But if anybody that listens has never been, it's a sight to be seen for sure. And I was just on the outside.
Yeah, wait till you get inside and those cars are running. It's something to be seen. So hopefully this year we'll get you to somewhere.
Yeah, we got to get you to a race, Jason. But in other news, Eric Almirola is announcing his retirement after the 2022 season. He's won 3 Cup races in his career, and he's won in the number 10 car. And at least he did something that Danica couldn't do. He won in the 10 car, so that proves that the 10 car could win. And he also, his first win, I think, was in the 2014 Daytona Summer Race. So congratulations to him in retirement. He's a pretty good driver. I like him. He seems to be the driver I get the most whenever I buy National Treasures cards, though. Box of National Treasures, I get him a lot.
How do you guys feel about the farewell tours that's kind of become a thing lately in other sports as well? How do you guys feel about that?
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think Richard Petty actually was probably the first one to really start that in 1992 when he was retiring. And I think a lot of people have just kind of followed suit with that. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it really depends, I think, a lot on the stature of the driver.
Yeah, I would agree.
How big the driver is.
Yeah, because thinking of who it is, that can increase ticket sales all season and merchandise and, people trying to get the last thing. And then if they don't announce it, all those people that are like, oh, I'll go next year or whatever, they miss out. So I'm a fan of it. I don't like when it gets drug out sometimes, but I'm a fan of it overall too.
Yeah, it was fun. The Richard Petty Fan Appreciation Tour in 1992. I was fortunate enough to go to 4 different races that year and see him at different places. I went to the Daytona Summer Race, which was actually my son's very first race. He was only 2 years old. And we went to a couple Talladega races and also went to the final race, his last race in Atlanta, which in my opinion is the greatest modern era race, if not the greatest NASCAR race of all time. And I guess you guys probably want to know why. Well, it was Richard Petty's last race. It was Jeff Gordon's first race. The points battle going in, and of course, back in those days, the points battles, it seemed like somebody, was clinching 2 or 3 races before the end of the season, so somebody had already won the championship. But going into the championship, mathematically, there were 6 people that could have won the championship. And that day, it all came down to who led the most laps, and it ended up that Alan Kowicki led 1 more lap than Bill Elliott and got the bonus points for that and ended up winning the championship, I think, by 5 points. Otherwise, if Bill Elliott had led 1 more lap, he would have won the championship. So it was a great, great race. Greatest race I've ever seen in my life.
So we're getting sidetracked already, but
yep.
So you said the 92 was the farewell tour for Petty. Okay. And we've talked about those Food Line cards. Were those 92? So,
yep.
So now everything makes sense to me.
Bingo.
Okay. All right.
Good job, Jason. That's exactly right. That's why they had those at the Food Lines, because of that. They marketed the heck out of that. They really, really did. They had die-cast cards, pins, buttons, pennants. I mean, they had all kinds of stuff that you could buy.
Now, one thing I did was I didn't do it with the ticket, but I did it with the program. I got Richard to sign that Atlanta program and Jeff Gordon to sign that program. That was one of those, like I said, it was one of those races where it was Jeff Gordon's first race and Richard Petty's last race. So
that's pretty crazy, because the odds of that happening with somebody so great's last and somebody that ended up being so great's first, that's a rare thing.
Yeah. So
there's my ticket.
Yeah. Was that at the Hall of Fame?
No, this is my real ticket. I gave them another ticket.
Okay.
This is where I sat.
Logan had one of his tickets displayed at the Hall of Fame. But yeah, you can go on eBay, and I don't know how much they are now, but I think I picked it, maybe the program and tickets up for like $20 or $30 at the time, and I got Jeff to sign that program at one of those what was that thing called, Logan, back in the day when we got autographs? But NASCAR had autograph sessions, whatever, and then I had Richard sign, I think, at the Hall of Fame as well. But anyway, it is pretty cool to have that kind of connection between the two at that race, and then, like I said, get them autographed. So
yeah, and one more thing, real quick. They did some Daytona testing. They had 2 days of testing with the new car, the next gen car, and just looking at some of the speeds on day one, seems like the Fords are really doing well because Harrison Burton of the Wood Brothers team, he's a rookie this year.
Yep.
He had a speed on day one he had the top speed of 184.264 miles per hour. And that's, to me, that's very slow at Daytona. So then they had a second practice that same day, and Austin Cindric of Team Penske bumped it up to 190.621 miles per hour. And Joey Logano was, literally right behind him. He was like 1/1000th of a second right behind him. So
Logano, okay.
Yeah, Joey Logano. So Team Penske's doing well. Then on the second day, Harrison Burton again was fastest in the Wood Brothers car, the 21 car. And he had a speed. Now check this out. This is apparently they found a lot of different things from the first day to the second day, because like I said, on day one, he was 184.264 miles per hour. On day two, he was 195.304 miles per hour.
Wow.
So they found 10 miles an hour in one day.
So both of them are going for Rookie of the Year.
Mm-hmm. And Cedric was second on day two. So this may be a heck of a year. We'll see. Maybe, I wasn't giving those guys a whole lot of credit, but I mean, looking at this, who knows? So just a little bit of Daytona testing news.
Well, speaking of some of that, we haven't talked about it in a few weeks, but, we usually talk about our next race, the next truck race, Daytona International Speedway, the Nextra Energy 250. That's race number 1. That's going to be Friday, February 18th. And I love this one, Xfinity, the race number 1 in Daytona International Speedway, the Beef. It's What's for Dinner 300. Love that name. Saturday, February 19th at 5 p.m. The Cup race, we're going to have the Busch Light Clash at the Coliseum. That's the Los Angeles Coliseum. We talked about that a little bit last week. They're bringing the dirt in for a quarter mile. That's 8 p.m. Saturday, February 6th. Less than a month to go, gentlemen.
Yeah. Can I expand on that just a little bit?
Sure.
Today, I think they announced the format for the race. They're going to have 4 25-lap heats. This will be on Sunday. With Saturday, they'll be doing qualifying on Saturday with all 36 charter teams. But on Sunday, they'll have 4 25-lap heats. 4 drivers from each heat will advance to the final race. They're going to have 2 last chance races of 50 laps each, and 3 drivers from each one of those will advance. And I totaled that up, and that's 22. But on the video that they did, they say there's going to be 23 drivers. So I don't know if there's going to be something special about a 23rd driver or what, but it's going to be cool no matter what, because they've already got the pavement down and they've already got the track built from what I saw on some videos. So it's going to be really neat.
I think I saw something where there were still some tickets available. I can't
really
remember where I saw that. They were showing, but it wasn't a lot that, for it. But also continuing on the NTT IndyCar series, just in case Ken wants to know, that it's going to be the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg at the streets of St. Petersburg, Sunday, February 27th at noon. And Formula One, the new 2022 season is going to be a record 23 race Formula One calendar, including the inaugural Miami Grand Prix. The first race will be at the Brahan International Circuit, Sakar Brahan, March 20th. That's the Brahan Grand Prix. So those are the races we're looking forward to start the season off for our different leagues.
Yep, it'll be here before we know it.
I hope so. I was watching. I know it was some video or whatever of the cars running around, and that sound. So just get your blood pumping for it. Speaking of F1, I think I had seen on F1 on a Facebook group, F1 Formula One trading card collectors chat, buy, sell, and swap. There is a gentleman who has a Sapphire set for sale. Looks like he's in the UK, so I thought it would be honorable mention or whatever. that it looks like maybe he put it out to eBay, but he's looking for about 2,999 pounds. When I did the conversion, that basically for today, that's like $4,111. But what's interesting is that it looks like he has it in binder pages, but they're not on the normal 9-card binder pages I'm used to. I don't know if they're 5x3 or 4x3. So I don't know if they're what's it, the game I'm talking about here? Pokemon maybe, or something like that. Yeah. So, but it was interesting to see a complete Sapphire set for sale. So, and to bring that kind of money, it's impressive.
Yeah. The thing I'm not a big fan of is putting those cards like that, especially cards of that caliber, in pages. What do you think about that, Jason?
Honestly, my first thought was hopefully he doesn't ship them in the binder. If somebody's paying $3,000 or $4,000, whatever the exchange rate is, he better be shipping every card in at least a top loader. Like, that's the least that he could do, to make sure they got there safe for, that amount of money. I don't know what the set is or how many, but
that was 200 cards.
Yeah. So you're talking $25-$30 probably for top loaders or something, 50 at the most. But if you're getting 3,000 back, make sure you get it there safely. Don't take any chances because you don't want to be out the money and the set. So,
I mean, the two big money cards, right, are going to be Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, and I don't know what what the going rate is, but it's probably 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So I wouldn't want those in pages. But I think to your point though, when you're shipping, I don't like to ship loose cards like if it was a 200 card set and it was a 200 card box, I'd be, if it was much lower price, maybe ship it that way. I had bought a 2004 press pass set and they put in a little 200 count box and shipped it that way, and it was the total was $11. That included shipping, so it wasn't like $4,000. So I guess when you get to that thing, top loaders, or I was thinking penny sleeves and card saver ones, right?
Absolutely.
Yep, at least something. Yeah.
So I'm not too familiar with those like Pokemon or whatever whatever you call those games, those sleeves. The one time I did buy those, they were too tight for regular cards, so I don't know how they do with the chrome or whatever. But like I said, it was impressive to see the complete Sapphire set.
Yeah, it's a beautiful set. You just like what Jason said, you don't need to lose twice. I'd take them out and definitely put them in top loaders.
Definitely. And speaking of Sapphire, the Lewis Hamilton 1 of 1 has been found. The last golden ticket, or I should say the only golden ticket, I guess, I don't know if the Max 101's been found yet, but it was on Blowout TV, and it was a box breaks, and it was about 3 hours, and
I didn't realize it was Blowout that pulled it. That makes me feel a little bit better about getting the card to the person, safely and securely.
It was 3 hours and 47 minutes and 20 seconds into the video. Basically, I was watching the video, and I'll play it here. They were doing a bunch of group breaks, and then I think a lot of people jumped off because it was kind of the end of the stream, and he asked if anybody wanted to do any individual box breaks. One person jumped in. David Zebath is the lucky winner, I guess. I don't remember the guy's name who's doing the box break for Blowout, but he talks about flying to California. So let me see if I can share that and play it.
You got a lot of Topps Chrome F1 there.
There we go, Dave. Good luck, buddy. Personal on the F1.
So he's opening the box, pulling out the packs. Pack 1.
All right, start off with Vettel, McLaren, Daniel Kvyat, and Robert Schwartzman. Future stars.
Pack 2.
All right, Dom's Racing, Roy Nisney, Lewis Hamilton, and you called Norris. There's the variation. Solid piece right there.
Pack 3.
It's not the out of 5, but still pretty solid piece. All right, next up, Max, Christian Lundgaard, Hamilton Bottas, and then we have a Williams Racing Gold. That one is 24 of 50.
Pack 4.
Next up, Leclerc, Lando Norris, Campos Racing, and High Tech Grand Prix.
Pack 5.
Carlin Racing, Zoo, Williams Racing, and then a Perma Racing Aqua. Number 50 of 99.
Pack 6.
Next up, Max, BWT, Hamilton, and Haas logo. Getting a lot of logos. That is 60 of 70.
Here we go. Pack 7.
We got a purple coming up here. I think it might be a portrait too. Alesi, Magnussen. Come on, baby. Malshow. No. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Well, Dave, looks like I'm flying to California. Holy. Oh my God.
So he's pulled the Lewis Hamilton 101.
I'm flying to California.
He's letting it all sink in. He's still got another pack to open.
You've got to be kidding me.
Golly.
You have got to be kidding me.
Nice
Leclerc, Gasly, MP Motorsports, and Bottas. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
So he's gotten up and stood up. Can't believe it.
That's a 6-figure card. My God. You guys just saw the best card from this product pulled live on Blowout TV.
So everybody's congratulating him in the chat. And then he's showing it again. Incredible.
Golly, that is absolutely amazing. That's winning the lottery in F1.
So, that's, I don't know what that car, I think we were saying it was about 1,500 out on the PSA 10. That was just for was that the base or that was just a base chrome? That wasn't even Sapphire. So there's no telling.
So the part I thought was interesting was he's opening these from home. He's not opening them, from the blowout warehouse or the store or whatever.
Oh
I wouldn't want that in my house any longer than it has to be.
I'm in absolute disbelief. This is literally the best card in the entire product right here. Wow. I mean, as much as this as we have opened, I would hope that we would have hit this card. Wow. This tweet should go viral.
Yeah, Jason, your part. So he's doing this at his house. I was thinking the same thing. It's like, what is this? $200,000 card? I mean, more, but to have that at the house, he put in a sleeve and put in a top loader, and he's got it against the other unopened Sapphire box. That if you look at Blowout's feed or whatever, you'll see that picture. But
the reaction we need to see is the guy at home that just bought that box. That's the one we need to see.
Yeah, I don't know. I went out to YouTube to look to see on his channel, whatever. He doesn't really have any. I think he's got his kid that has 2 videos out there, but I was going to try to contact him and have him on the show. Yeah, it's going to be impressive. I'm sure it's going to go out to PSA, get graded, and then we'll have to keep an eye on, the sale. So I would imagine that thing gets sold. I don't think that gets put into his collection or whatever. I think that probably gets flipped.
Well, that was going to be my question to you, and I hope you say what you're going. What I,
Oh, it's sold.
There's no way I would keep that card. Not a chance.
Yeah, I mean that's I don't know. It might be. Well, I was going to say with our housing market, it's half a house right there.
So I wonder what it's going to get graded. I mean, it's hard to tell from the image on the screen. It's probably going to be at least a 9, probably. Hoping for a 10.
That's one of those, and I've always felt this way. Does it really matter at that point, as opposed to, an autograph refractor out of 500 of somebody like that? I can see, but like, it's a 1 of 1. Does a grade could honestly hurt it more than help it. I think if you send it and get by some off chance you get a 7 or an 8, I would almost rather sell it raw at that point.
To your point, I think if I was doing it, I would probably put a minimum grade of 9, so it'd be a 9 or 10. Anything less than that, I put maybe authentic. I do like the fact of getting it encapsulated to help protect it. But to your point, I don't think the grade, if it comes back a 9 or a 10, I don't think it matters. I think maybe a 10 maybe helps it some, but at the end of the day, it's the Lewis Hamilton 101 Sapphire edition of the rookie or inaugural year. Yeah, it's just mind blowing.
Yeah, I mean, look at the PMGs. I mean, those things, they're all over the place. They're 7s, they're authentics, and look what the kind of prices those PMG basketball cards get. So, expect the same from this.
So, question to you guys, and especially to you, Logan, because I know where your heart lies in this subject. I've always liked Beckett for the fact that it is airtight for their slabs. For something like this, and I know you're a PSA guy, but Val, I want your opinion too. Would you change or would you stick with PSA? Who would you have grade this card?
I'm going to have PSA do it all the way. I trust those guys. I know their standards. I think it's going to command the highest price in a PSA holder. So yeah, for me, it's PSA all the way.
So I like the PSA, but I would almost put them against each other. I'd actually might call and see who'd give me the best deal. I don't know why I'm thinking this, but Beckett or SGC, either of those two, maybe they pay me to have it graded, to have that in their holder, since it's going to be iconic.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a publicity card, because I remember in 2018 at the National doing stuff with Beckett, and they were taking that Ohtani 101 everywhere. They were showing it off, letting people hold it, getting pictures with it. So it's definitely a publicity, not a stunt, but a publicity thing for any company that's involved. With that,
I would try to swing it, because what's that going to be, Logan? $2,000 to grade it?
Yeah, something like that. It's going to be very expensive.
So, but I would try to save some of that money and see if they pay me to have it graded, to have it in their holder. So, but I would definitely get it encapsulated, like I said, to just kind of preserve it and make sure none of the elements can kind of get to it, or fingers or drop in it, or bend in a corner or whatever. So, but I did see that pop up on the Blowout feed and thought everyone would like to hear that. It's just incredible to see that. I mean, I don't know, Logan, if we got anything in NASCAR that could touch that. But again, I want to say it's artificial scarcity, but or Larson's 101s or whatever, nothing can kind of touch that. So, of course, we only have a few products, and that Sapphire was a limited product of a limited product. So, anyway, congrats to him. So that has been found. So now, what does that do to Sapphire boxes? Because they were creeping up to like $2,500 a box.
It hurts for a little bit, I think, but like you said before we watched and listened to the video, if Max hasn't been pulled, it might not do anything.
Yeah, I guess that if it hasn't been pulled, that's the next big one, and then it's downhill from there. But Pretty impressive.
It amazes me it's taken this long. I guess people have just been buying boxes and holding on to them.
Yeah, they're not, because that Sapphire was limited through Montgomery Club and whatever other channels. I think you could get it from the UK side as well, but I think they had a limit of 1 per person, and that's that 10-box case, Logan, that we saw at the National for $7,000. So you don't see a lot of it for sale. So, but it sounded like from what he was saying that they've been busting a lot of it over at Blowout. So, let's see, moving over to the next subject, the Hall of Fame. It's coming up, the induction ceremony, end of the month. I think it is January 21st. We'll have the induction ceremony. Dale Earnhardt Jr. I guess now's the time to maybe buy some of those before the ceremony as rookies, as well as Farmer and Mike Stefanik. This is the first year that they changed. They usually do 5 a year, but they changed the process where now there's 2 newer selections as well as 1 legend selection. So they went from 5 to 3.
Yeah, I think they had to do that. I mean, when at 5 a year, it's going to get to a point where they're not going to have a lot of people to choose from. I mean, not to say that there's not a lot of great careers out there in NASCAR between the drivers, crew chiefs, and mechanics and all of that, but they had to do that. And when they first started the NASCAR Hall of Fame back in 2010, I'm thinking, wow, they need to get this thing really rolling. They need to have at least 10 people on this inaugural class. And they only had 5. And then now look, we're down, we're kind of seeing the light now that, they're only going to do 3.
Well, yeah, when you sit in that room and, after 10 years, you have 50 banners up there in that room, it's kind of, I think they actually had to put banners of the 4 or the 5, I'm sorry, the 5 to get them all hanging in that room. So, yes.
Yeah. Of course, the big draw is going to be Junior. And, I was thinking about going. In fact, I called the NASCAR Hall of Fame today and was discussing it with Jessica there at the Hall of Fame. And unfortunately, they're not going to be able, because of COVID, they're not going to be able to have autograph signing sessions. So for me, that's a big, big part of going, is being able to say hi to these drivers and these legends and shake their hand and get autographs from them. And since I won't be able to do that, this is unfortunate. I'm not going to be able to go this year just because of that.
It's funny because I called as well today too. Talked to Jessica, so shout out to Jessica Bell at the NASCAR Hall of Fame membership services. But basically, kind of the same reason. I still want to get my tickets or whatever, because I know me and Logan both collect those tickets after all these years. But yeah, and I definitely understand why they're doing it. But hopefully it'll get back to normal here next year, maybe.
Gosh, I'm hoping so. The way COVID's been going, it seems like it's not. Each variant seems to be not as potent as the variant before that. So I'm hoping that if enough people get vaccinated and things, that this thing will eventually either die out or get to be where it's just like maybe having a cold or something. So I know all of us out there are praying for better days, and I know I am for sure.
So if you're interested in Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s rookie cards or first cards in the 1994 wheels high gear Series 2 and the Optima XL. So, and again, if you're looking for the wheels high gear, make sure it's Series 2, not Series 1. I had somebody on eBay show that it was Series 1, and they kind of advertised it was Earnhardt Jr.'s rookie card. I had to contact them, let them know, nope, it's in Series 2.
Yeah, and something else to note about the Optima cards, those are the big tall boy cards. Kind of watch out for those when you're looking at those, because I don't know what happened, but you'll see a lot of those cards, and it's like they got fed into the cutting machine at an angle, and you'll see a lot of those cards where they're kind of, they're at an angle, and you can tell it when you look at it. You can tell it. So just be on the lookout for that when you're buying those cards, because there's a lot of them out there that are cut that way.
And if you're out on ComC, just looking at their pricing here while we're doing the show, the Optima is $11. The 94 wheels high gear base, number 183, that's $19.99. And then also there's a day one. So what they did was, I think it was 500 cases or whatever that they put a silver day one on. And so that's at $12.38. So again, you're looking at a NASCAR Hall of Famer, and the rookie cards are under $20. Can't beat it.
Yeah, take that, Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of Lewis Hamilton you can get for $12, $20.
Get a wrapper, maybe.
Yeah, but anyway, so the induction ceremony is coming up here in a few weeks. So NT Racing, so that is releasing in a few days here. I believe the checklist has been released from Panini. And again, they did not choose my idea of using the checkerboard pattern for the box. I don't know why, but it's like blue and yellow.
I think it was the blue and yellow ink lobbyists that opted for that. They lobbied hard for that.
They sure did.
So, yeah, I was looking at the checklist. There's going to be, in the base cards, you're looking at 120 cards. Now, the rookies in this set start at card number 107. So, card 107 through 120 are the rookies. You've got Natalie Decker, Ryan Repko, Drew Dollar, Rafael Lessard, Taylor Gray, Jesse Love, Josh Berry, Josh Williams, Cody Vanderwall, Mason Massey, Chandler Smith, Anthony Alfredo, Austin Cindric, Sheldon Creed. Who's not in there, Jason?
It's got to be your boy, Ty freaking Gibbs.
Ding, ding,
right?
ding. No Ty freaking Gibbs. I was really hoping he would be in this, but he's not in it at all.
They have to. We talked about, and luckily last week's episode is fresh because I listened today, but they have to be saving that for 2022, right? I mean, we talked about that all throughout the episode for Dawn Russ last week. I would imagine they're not going to spoil one to get the other when the other one's going to come back around.
Yeah, so is this 21 NT?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he have anything in there?
No.
Like an autograph or nothing at all, huh?
No, I did a search. I'm on Cardboard Connection, and I did a search on the page for Gibbs. Nothing. No Ty Gibbs on anything. So I guess you're right. They're probably going to save it for a rainy day.
So you get one base card a box?
Yeah, there's one base card per box. So, gosh, imagine trying to complete this set. And if they do like they've done in the past, the rookies will be a shorter print probably. So they'll be even tougher than the other regular base cards. But they're going to have the base cards themselves are numbered to 25. Then they're going to have some hollow silvers to 15, hollow golds to 10, then a hollow platinum blue, which those cards look really cool, that are the 1-of-1s. So you can almost figure out the print run on this if you did all the math. I'm putting you on that, Val.
All right, I'll have to talk about it next show.
Yeah.
So you said you're a set collector primarily. I know definitely for you, Val, but for Logan, you said the same last week. Does National Treasures base set get put into that same sentence?
Maybe.
Typically. So let's go past years. Do you typically go for the base set on those? Because a 25 base set is that's pretty difficult task there.
I can answer the question for him.
Yes.
He does if he finds
a
whole bunch of inserts. I mean, a whole bunch of cards. What was it from Eric? Eric had at one of the nationals, and I know you were at his booth there at the national, and almost have a complete set of that year.
Yeah, I bought a ton of them from him. Yeah, if I can get a good start, if I was able to pick up a 50 or 60 card lot of 50 or 60 different cards to begin with,
Right.
yeah, I'd probably be all over it. I think that would be a great start. So
Yeah,
if I can get a handle on it real quick, then yeah, for sure. Because that was back in 2016, Val, believe it or not. And I'm
was it
still
really
like,
that long ago?
yeah, it's been that long ago.
Oh my goodness.
I still have like, I think maybe 1 or 2 cards left, and I haven't really tried to pursue it. I guess I should be, but I just about got the whole base set from that year.
I mean, you have to be incredible to endure and to, see that to the end, because you're talking 120 cards, one a box. Boxes are $400. We don't want to even do the math if you're going to
No
buy
kidding.
120 boxes. Let's see what that is here, because I got my scientific calculator.
Oh wow, you're spiffy.
$48,000.
Oh man, hold on, that's chump change. I got that. I'm gonna dole that out now.
Oh yeah, I guess if you had that Lewis Hamilton 101, you get change back.
Yeah, yeah. They are going to have some black and white variations in these base cards as well, but I think these variations are just they're going to be, they say variations, but I think like card number 76 of Kurt Busch, that's just going to be a black and white card. I don't think you're going to see a color version and a black and white version. I think that's just black and white. But one of the things that caught my eye, and of course, I'm old school anyway, is their cut signatures checklist for this year. Last year they had 5 different cards in that checklist, and I literally just like a couple weeks ago, it took me about a year to complete that 5 card set, and each one of those cards is limited to 5, and it's pretty much the same thing again this year with the limits. They've got some cards limited to 4 and others limited to 5, but this year they've got 13 cut signature cards. So that is going to be a daunting task if I decide to take this one on, and it could probably get expensive. The one that stands out the most here is they've got Richard Petty, and there's only 4 of those. So I expect that card to go for a good bit of cash. The rest of them, not so much. Maybe Bill Elliott might, and maybe Rusty Wallace and Darrell Waltrip, but the rest of them, you've got Buddy Baker, Cotton Owens, Glenn Wood, Marvin Panch, Tim Flock, Dale Jarrett, Ernie Irvin, Mark Martin, and Harry Gant to round out the 13 cards. So I'm thinking about it. It just depends on how many pop up and how much they are.
So are you looking at on Cardboard Connection, or are you looking at the checklist?
Yeah, I'm on Cardboard Connection.
So in the Excel spreadsheet, it's cards 2 to 15. Cards 1's missing and card 5 is missing.
Yeah, I wonder what happened there.
So there are 2 folks in the checklist that got removed.
Yeah, I wonder who they were. Junior Johnson, maybe?
I don't know. Because they're cut signatures, so I don't know what that takes. I guess there's no way they could have an Earnhardt. But anyway, so that's where I was going with it's showing 2 to 15 with also card number 5 missing. So
it's very strange that would happen, because going into that it's limited, and you would think that those are secured before you would put them on the checklist, or at least plan for them. And obviously with them being numbered in the set, not like serial numbered, but set numbered, so there are numbers on the back, and you took out 2 cards, and now you have this wonky checklist. You would think that's, secured and good to go.
So I wonder if you're onto something, Logan, because I'm looking at the cut signature material nicknames. Gordon's in the list and Junior Johnson's in the list. And so those 2 are missing.
One of them is number 1 and the other one's number 5. Look at it.
Boom. Yep. Okay. So mystery solved. So it was Gordon and Junior Johnson. So either they had that whole list and then they, for whatever reason, didn't do it with the cut signatures. So, probably because both of those folks were, I was just thinking if it's from the 50th anniversary print of that, the 98, I'm sorry. Yeah. that
Yeah,
1998.
Because the cards that from last year were all cut off that litho.
Right. I'm assuming they would do the same again. I think Harry Gant. Every one of these drivers, I think, is one of the 50 greatest.
Yes, I think they are.
So anyway, sorry to derail the conversation here.
Yeah, so that's the one that's most interesting to me. I mean, there are so many subsets here, way too many to try to even go through right now. As I scroll through these things, it's unreal. They're going to have all kinds of different memorabilia. It looks like they're going to have gloves, tires, sheet metal, premium patches. There's going to be a lot of different things in this year. The thing that I'm probably not the most thrilled about is it looks like there's going to be a lot of I won't even call them rookies. I mean, a lot of drivers in the other series like Xfinity, ARCA, Truck maybe. There's a lot of drivers from them. So, I mean, I get it that you got to fill the boxes, but man, some of these people, in my opinion, just don't need to be in a premium product like this.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Looking through the list here, because you think National Treasure would be the best of the best.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me, if I were Panini, this would be mostly a Cup/Legends set product. Sprinkled in with maybe a few of the better known Xfinity drivers and things like that. But there's a lot of people in here that, like I said, I just nothing against these people at all. But there's some of these people that just don't need to be in this set. And
maybe that's why it keeps it priced down to $400 as opposed to
that's true.
Maybe $1,500 for like some of the other boxes go for.
True. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. But I mean, I think it's going to be fun. I mean, I think, I told you guys I was going to buy a box. I mean, I don't know. I'm on the fence on buying a box, especially now since I saw the cut signature checklist. I may just concentrate my efforts on that instead. We'll see. But it looks pretty cool. I mean, they have a lot of premium patches. From what I understand, every box is going to have a booklet. So that in itself is nice. So, I mean, there's a lot of positives. It's just, to me, some of these drivers just don't need to be in this product. I mean, like I'm looking at Kaz Gralla. Nothing against you, Kaz. I like you a lot. But, I mean, I just don't think Kaz Gralla and, even, I know Justin Haley's won a cup race and he's going cup racing this year, but, I'm not sure about that. So, I'm not trying to beat anybody up. It's just, I would like to see some, a little bit more on the higher end, scale of drivers and legends in here.
Yeah, just looking at some of the other pricing here for some of the different series or different sports, trying to find some. It's like first off the line, and they're older. I'm trying to find some newer 2020 stuff.
Have you had a chance to look at the checklist, Jason?
Yeah, I was browsing it as we talked about it, and then a little while ago, and I guess I just don't have the same feeling that you do. I have the same second feeling that you do when you were like, well, I didn't think about, the lower tier people being in there to keep the price down, because that was my first thought. I just didn't say anything because, same for every sport. It happens. I guess for me, it's more about what each box would deliver as far as, you said a booklet in each box. If it wasn't that way, would I even consider it, which it's not really in my wheelhouse, but, when it's a $300 or $400 price tag, I'm kind of looking at my odds of the type of card more than the driver on this one, because I think the type of card and the numbering helps just as much in that situation. Because like you were talking, the base sets out of 25. I mean, that's, probably an easy $5 or $10, which is nothing, but a typical base card is 5 or 10 cents.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they're going to have some fire suit cards in here, which is going to be nice. I mean, and I'm not trying to knock the product at all, because I love National Treasures. It's one of my favorite. I guess after Chronicles is probably my next favorite set. But it just seems like to me that, you know, we could have a few more premium drivers in here. I don't know. But I mean, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be fine. Like I said, I think I may focus my efforts on the cut signatures.
So what do you think it does for the product being releasing so late, you know, in this window where, you know, we're looking at next month for the first race going on, and then Donruss will be out? Or do you think that you have those NT collectors and it doesn't matter when it comes out, they're looking to buy their box/case?
I think that for this product, it probably really doesn't matter a whole lot, because it's such a cool product. It's a high-end product that, I mean, it's like you said, there's going to be NT collectors that, you know, are going to bust a lot of this stuff. So I don't know that it necessarily hurts it. What this may do, I don't know if it's going to hurt Donruss or not, because I mean, you got Donruss literally on the heels of this. So
See, I think it worked out in their favor. I hate, and we've talked about it multiple times, when a 21 product comes out in 22, that's like the most evil thing to me in trading cards. I hate it with a passion, but I think it works out because you have the Daytona 500 coming, you have Donruss coming, and for a NASCAR collector, how often do we get two products within 30 days? You know, in baseball, the start of the baseball season has flagship, and then heritage usually within 30 to 45 days probably releasing, and then you have the start of the season, and I think that just jump starts everything. So I think it's working out in their favor, as opposed to if it came out mid-December, people were using money for other things like Christmas, it might work out for them a little bit better. It's unfortunate, you know, that it's a 21 and a 22 calendar year, but, you know, I think we'll take the good with the bad.
So it makes you wonder if they're going to have, since they're packing it out so late, are they going to have contest cards for the 2022 Daytona 500? Will we have the contest cards from last year in there? Not that it really matters a whole lot, but it's just something to think about.
Well, I saw that the winner was selected. I don't know if you saw. Well, you're not in the Nuts group. It was one of the Nuts members got selected, but I don't think she could make it, so it went back into the pool for the next person. So,
they got to give her something.
That's unfortunate. But
yeah, I think she's gonna get something, but because they were saying that Les won it the year before. He's also on the Nuts site, or the Nuts website. Not website, Facebook group. Sorry.
Yeah, I'd be interested to find out from these people that win how many entries they did. Probably one.
No, if they're on the Nuts website, I'm sure they've entered a few. We have anything else? eBay auctions or anything you want to talk about? We're coming up on an hour.
Yeah, we just hit an hour. We can do a few real quick. I don't want to do a whole ton of them, but I went and looked today at some of the things that ended. In fact, literally right before we started recording this show, a Lewis Hamilton 2020 Topps Now Formula One card number 3 PSA 10 went for $1,054. So we've talked about it before. That's a significant decrease from what it was back in the summer. The crazy thing is it was at $1,004 with about an hour to go, and I put a bid in and it bumped it up to $1,029, and it stayed that way literally till 9 minutes before the auction ended. And then somebody outbid me for $1,054, and it stayed that way. Nobody else bid. So I don't know what that means, that nobody bid in the last few minutes or few seconds, because this was like 9 minutes before that. Somebody bid the $1,054. So I thought that was interesting. So
is that because you felt the peer pressure from last week?
Yes, I told you I was going to get one.
Well, I think it was that Dallas show was like in May, and I think they were going for like 3,000 back then, right?
Oh no, they were more than that.
I think last week you said 5, upwards of 5.
$5,000. I know that. I think Ivan had some that he brought to the Dallas show, and he was asking over $4,000 for them at that time, I think.
Wow.
And I think he even had one in Uncle Rich's case.
I do remember that. I wasn't sure what they were going for.
Yeah, I think that's what he was asking. I don't think he sold it. I don't think he had any nibbles on it. But yeah, so that's what that was going for. So anyway, I thought that was interesting that card ended just literally right before we started recording. Some of the other things, let me look through this list real quick. I'll pick out some things that kind of stood out for me. There was a couple of good deals. I'll say that there was both these were on the 6th of January. A 1996 VIP autograph card, Jeff Gordon, is $55. Buy it now. That was a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then that same seller looks like also had a 1996 scoreboard autograph, Jeff Gordon, number 200 of 250, $55. Buy it now. So apparently the guy probably listed him. Somebody came up right behind there and saw him, went click, click, and bought him.
Funny. It's funny because I saw both of those. It caught my eye, and I was thinking about it, but I think he might have sent out best offers of like $52 or something like that. I think that's what I got, and I got busy doing something and never came back to it. But yeah, I did see those too.
Yeah, you got to think. I mean, the Prism Jeff Gordon autos right now are going for like $1.25, somewhere in that range right now. So $55 for a Jeff Gordon autograph that's vintage, it's 25 years ago. Yeah, I think that's a great deal.
So this brings up a point. So I remember my mindset thinking about that. So if you're not familiar with PSA and grading, not that you can get anything graded, but I'm still in that mindset. Is anything graded 1998 forward is just a regular grading fee. Anything before 1998, you actually have to pay grading fee plus autograph authentication as well. So that I think was my trigger as not to buy those.
Makes sense.
Does that make sense? So I'm always looking at that. That's always my search in eBay is 1998 and newer. So if you bought a Dale Earnhardt Sr. auto 1998 up, you wouldn't have to pay for the autograph authentication fee, which is anywhere from $25 to $35, depending on if it's a sale or not. So anyway, I guess that's just my mindset after all these years of doing PSA.
So I want to ask, because it was brought up, and now we're at a point where we can kind of look back on 2021. What grade would you give Panini on their reintroduction of Jeff Gordon to card products and then like their usage of the autographs? Do you think it was the right amount, too much, too little? What do you guys think looking back now?
I think Panini did a good job. I think a lot of that stuff is actually decided by Jeff Gordon and his people. I don't think Panini really has a lot of say on how much they can produce or how many autographs he's going to sign. I think that's all pre-negotiated with Jeff Gordon. So, knowing how Jeff is, he's a difficult signer sometimes. So I could think that, he said, hey, I'm only going to sign X number of cards and I'm only going to sign X number of stickers. And, that's what you get for whatever it is that you're going to pay me. So I think all in all, I think Panini did a great job with it. I wish I could have pulled one. I guess I still can if I go buy me some cards, but I hadn't pulled one yet. But I think if we were going to give them a number between 1 and 10 on how well they did, I'd give them a 10 on it. I mean, they worked hard just to get that, because I know there was a time that, when we were talking to Tim Trout and those guys that, they were trying to get Jeff Gordon, but they just couldn't come to terms with the kind of money he wanted. So the fact that Panini just even got him back, I think is a win-win for everybody.
So I want to know what you think as well about Val, but I want to ask Logan a follow-up, and maybe you have an answer as well. Do you think he is signing so many per year, or do you think he has already signed what he's going to as far as like stickers and things go, and then it's just spread them out as long as you can?
No, I think it's a yearly thing. I mean, it almost has to be, especially when you have on-card,
especially for National Treasures. Yeah,
National Treasures. Yeah. I think it's a yearly thing. He's going to say, I'm signing X number of cards and stickers, and that's all you get. Which, hey, that's better than nothing,
right?
Because Jeff Gordon definitely helps the NASCAR products that Panini makes, without a doubt.
So, what do you think, Val?
So, I know during the press pass days, he didn't sign a lot, and he was always in the low numbered type stuff. And Jeff is definitely a stickler for his image, so I'm sure him or his group, they are very cognizant and have to approve, every image that he appears on. So, protecting his image and brand and everything else. So, which is, his right and whatever. So, I think they did a good job with him this year. So, to Logan's point, just getting him into the product. And I think talking with the Panini guys, him being in that Dunruss Fox announcer set helped kind of prime that wheel, or to get him back interested, or his team back interested of being back in trading cards. So it was definitely a big win for Panini, and having the Rainbow Warrior in there, and it definitely helps. So,
do you think he signed more for Panini now that stickers are involved? Because press pass, everything was on card. Or do you think it's just a happy coincidence?
I think stickers help. That way, he can get that portion done, and then having to approve the images. So, because I don't necessarily know, these guys, his time is, I'm sure, super valuable. So to be able to do the autographs maybe in one sitting or something like that and get it knocked out, as opposed to, multiple signings throughout the year. So I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that, Val. I think that the fact that he can sit down and sign several pages of stickers makes it a little better for him. Because I can understand it. I mean, you got people clamoring for your autograph all the time. You get stuff in the mail all the time. I'm sure after a while, I mean, when it first starts out and people want your autograph, it's really cool. But then, as time goes on, it's like, oh God, another one of those autograph people. I'm sure it wears thin on him after so long. So yeah, I think it's a good thing.
I mean, you think about it. This has been going on since '91, right? For him. So it's been a long time. He was always, boy wonder or whatever back in the early days. So he's been getting this attention for a long time. I'm sure it wears on you.
Yeah, I'm just glad they got him in there. And I know they've been trying to talk to Teresa Earnhardt about getting Dale Earnhardt in there, but from what we understand, that's probably not going to happen anywhere in the near future.
I don't know if we were done with this or not. I have one thing I was going to say is I did get an answer to the Topps Now, that card number 80. Topps didn't have the print run on their site. They had the other 8 or 9 cards, and this was the 2021 FIA Drivers World Championship F1 card of Max Verstappen. It was a print run of 29,562.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, so everybody else was between like 3,700 and let's call it 8,000. So this was almost.
They didn't have an
30,
answer because they were still counting.
Maybe that was it. So that's a lot of cards.
That's a lot compared to the Lewis Hamilton Topps Now card that first came out. How many was that, Val?
Like 1,900.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many Lewis Hamilton championships were in 2020. I'll have to go back and look at that one, but I don't think it was almost 30,000. So I did get 5 of those, and I got 5 of, I think it was card number 89. It was the Formula 2 champion, which was a print run of 6,929.
Golly, even that one was a lot more than Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
A lot of speculation going on here.
Yes, sir. Anything else, guys?
No, I mean, I could talk about more eBay auctions, but I think we can probably let it go with that for now. I can talk more about those next week. I'll have the same list.
Alrighty. I was somebody did mention about somebody mentioned on Twitter, I think it was Facebook, asking about some of the older shows if we had talked about some other sets, and I'd forgotten to mention this the last couple of weeks that if you check our archives, like the 1972 STP, that's episode number 29, or the 1983 Uno, that's episode number 31. Also on episode 31 is the 1985 Sports Star Photographic Stickers. We have 1986 Sports Star Photographics, episode number 33. Episode number 40, the 1987 and 88 World of Outlaws. That was Jeff Gordon's first card in the 1987. 1988 Max, that's in episode number 38 and 39. And the 1988 Max Earnhardt promo, episode number 42. The 1982 Kitco, those are the cards that came out of the Matchbox cars, little kid metal cars. That was episode number 50. So that's some of the past episodes. But we appreciate you listening and following the podcast. Please like and subscribe to the podcast. Share NASCAR trading cards with your friends. And for me and the guys, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.